Hello everybody, Season 18 has launched in Diablo 3, and it is the Season of the Triune, which gives everybody a season-wide buff, regardless of your level, which is kind of the first time that this has happened, because all the other seasonal buffs really only took effect once you hit max level. So this one in particular is the Season of the Triune, which gives you 3 different power circles that can spawn upon dealing damage or using an ability. So you have the Circle of Love, Determination, and Creation. The Love is a kind of reddish purple circle. If you stand in it, you get 100% damage increased, which is crazy good, and it's also really nice for leveling, of course. So you just like run into the red circle whenever you see it. That is like the priority circle. You also have a green one, which is the Circle of Determination. It gives you a 50% resource cost reduction, which is pretty nice if you're playing a spender build on any of your characters. And then you have the Circle of Creation, which is a kind of a light blue circle, and it reduces your cooldowns by a ton while you're sitting in it. It just kind of ticks. The longer that you're standing in it, the further your cooldowns are going to go down in reduction. So they're all very powerful, but obviously that red one is the one that you want to stand in whenever it is up. So that's kind of how the gameplay works for this season. It makes the leveling really nice because you get the circles throughout your leveling process. Again, not something that you really have ever gotten in previous seasons, but at the same time, it changes up gameplay for the entire season. You know, at max level, as you're doing your stuff, you now have new things to go run and stand in, and not just Oculus Ring circles, which, by the way, the damage from Oculus Ring circles, which increases your damage, does stack with the red circles. So if they're on top of each other, it does stack, and it is really nice for your increased damage. Just as a little heads up. All the other circles do stack as well, but if you have multiple players in the same game, you're going to get, multiple red circles and multiple blue circles. If they're on top of each other, they do not stack, only, the individual circles. So if you get like a blue, a red, and a green circle all on top of each other, you'll get the effects of all 3 of them, which is, of course, really powerful. So let's talk about the seasonal journey. You've got several things going on in here that you want to get done. So if you're like me and you just want to get your season done as quickly as possible, there's a couple things that you get. You get this cool portrait frame. You also get the pennant. And of course, if you haven't unlocked all the stash spaces on PC yet, you also get one of those once you complete Conqueror. Now, if you want the cool portrait frame to, you get the cool stuff going on, you have to complete all of the season. If you want to do that, I'm going to give you the best tips for doing so, but just as a quick little heads up, this stuff is from previous seasons. Both of these cosmetics are. They're starting to recycle some of them, which I'm okay with. The more that I think about it, it allows them to do things like add new sets, which they're going to be doing in the near future. If you missed that blog post, you can find it either on the Diablo website or on Diablo Fans. Of course, those of you who don't know, I am basically in charge of Diablo Fans now that it has returned. It got bought by a company called Magic Find alongside MMO Champion and Hearthstone, and I have returned to basically run that site. So if you want to learn about any of that stuff for upcoming development on Diablo 3, you can check that out. Let's talk about completing your journey. So on chapter 1, this is not really going to be anything that is special. You just need to complete 5 bounties. I'll talk about the bounty thing in a moment for leveling up and the most efficient way to do that. But you're going to get your first 2 pieces of your free set. So in this case, Witch Doctors get the Zunimasa set this season. You're going to get the first 2 pieces on chapter 2, the next 2 on chapter 3, and the rest of your set on chapter 4. So if your set has multiple pieces that aren't just, the 6 pieces, right? So like Zuni has 7 pieces. If you get the last one done, you're going to get the last piece in it. So get to chapter 4, and then you'll have your full free set. The key here is chapter 2 is the first one that you get your 2 pieces on, and you have to be level 70 in order to get them, because one of the requirements is that. Outside of that, kill Magda and Adria as you're leveling up, craft a level 70 ring from the Mystic, which is pretty easy to do. You can transmogrify an item. Like, this is all pretty easy stuff. You're going to get this one real quick and get your 2 set very quickly. Just make sure, right? Make sure you're paying attention to this stuff once you are kind of getting close to level 70, and you'll be able to get your first 2 pieces rather quickly. For chapter 3, it's a bit of a different story. There are a couple things here that you're going to need to do, such as kill like Butcher and Urzael, which you could do while leveling up. But this bounty cache thing, I say this every season, the most efficient way to do this is to do the bounties once you hit level 70. Now that can mean going and actually completing them when you hit 70, or doing them as you level up and holding them in your game, and then turning in the bounties to Tyrael once you are actually level 70. The reason for this is because in chapter 4, you need to learn 5 blacksmith recipes and 5 jewel crafting recipes. And the only way to get those in an efficient manner without, having to go farm odious collector goblins, which, drop crafting materials, is to, of course, do these. So you do with the bounties, all 5 of them, which is going to get you your 5 recipes on each. Or actually, you're going to get a lot of blacksmith recipes, but you're going to get your 5 jewel crafting recipes from doing all 5 bounties. So at like level 55-ish, go and begin the bounty process. Finish all of the bounties in all acts, but do not turn them into Tyrael until you hit level 70. If you need a little bit more XP, I would suggest just going and doing some rifts, but don't close your game. Don't do anything, right? Just like go finish it. Wait to turn them in until you hit 70. Once you do, turn them all in at once. You're going to get a few legendaries out of it, possibly. And then you're also going to get all your crafting materials, which is going to finish this. This is one of the ones that takes the longest to complete if you're going to try to get all of your set pieces. Finally, in that chapter 3, the only other thing is to use Kanai's Cube to upgrade a rare item to a legendary. And I believe one of these is trying to have you replace a property on an item. Another trick here that I don't mention often enough is if you want to do that, try to do a socket. Because on chapter 4, it wants you to replace a weapon property to a socket. So you can kind of get both of those done at the same time in one fell swoop. Here's the trick. If you have a weapon that has a socket already on it that has dropped, you can reforge the socket to a socket, right? You put it on as a socket, and then you just tell it like, no, I don't want to change it to anything else, and you just reforge it to a socket again, and that totally works. So that's a good way to trick that and get that done. And then, of course, in order to finish getting the rest of your set, you do have to kill all the key wardens in the various acts on Torment 4. But by the time you have your 4 set bonus, most classes should be able to do this. And then once you've done that, you should be able to go do your Greater Rift 20 solo in order to get your final pieces and then move on. As a quick tip, also for leveling, on Diablo fans, on our Season 18 mega post, we've linked to a ton of videos from Bloodshed who does starter guides for each of the classes. So if you're looking for ways to level up faster or just builds to be able to do your Greater Rift 20 solo, if you're struggling with that, go check out those videos. They will help you a lot. So now that you've completed all that and you've gotten your pennant and everything, and maybe you want to get the cool portrait frames to finish off your season, the only real thing here is going to be conquest and gems. That's conquest, gems, and bosses, I think, are going to be the things that are going to trip people up. You do have to do a set dungeon, and then for champion, you have to master a set dungeon. But the trick that I always tell people is for Guardian, you are going to need to take a legendary gem up to level 70, but for one of the conquests, you're going to want to do 3 gems. So if we switch over to conquests real quick, we'll talk about those, because you're going to need 3 conquests for the end of the season. We've completed 4. That's just how it is. So you're going to level 3 gems to 65 and then take that last one to level 70. And when you do that, you will be able to get the chapter done for that one and get the conquest done because you have 3 to 65. Then the other conquests that are here are stupid easy this season. You could do curses, which if you go to Act 5 and you find the Cursed Peat chest event, you could go there and it's really easy to clear and get the curses achievement, which I haven't done because I haven't needed to. I accidentally did all these. Complete a Nephilim Rift on Torment 10 within 2 minutes. Super easy, especially once you get your set up and you get your speed set and gear and all that set up. Reach Greater Rift level 75 solo. All class sets can do this, so nobody should have really any issue doing that. And if you complete a Greater Rift 70 solo, you're going to unlock the ability to start getting primal ancient items, which have like this cool red border. They are perfectly rolled items. You will get one by finishing a level 70 Rift solo for the first time in a season. So do that and then just go do a 75. It won't be that difficult. I mean, I think if you think of it this way, a level 70 solo is what, Torment 15? So if you could do Torment 15 pretty quickly, you could do your 75 solo. Then boss mode, which I have a guide for. I will link to it in the description. It's basically just killing all the bosses within 20 minutes of the start of the game. This has gotten easier over the seasons because gear and the power creep has gotten better. But the trick here, if you don't want to watch the video, is if you're running with multiple people, they all have to be in for the boss fight, but everybody can run to a different boss at the same time. Use your town portal to go back to town. Once you do that, you then accept the boss fight that someone has initiated. And when you kill the boss, you use your map, you open up the map and you go back to town. I don't know if this works on console, but it definitely works on PC. You use your map to go back to town rather than using your town portal. And then your portal will still be there from where you left off. And then you can continue on, searching for Adria, for example, because she's the worst. And then, obviously, getting these done is really easy this season, which means that completing your journey is that much easier. But you will need to augment an ancient item with a level 50 plus gem. So get all 3 of your gems up to 65, get 1 up to 70, and if you're just trying to finish as quickly as possible, trash one of those gems at Kanai's Cube with the pattern. You're just going to, do Kanai's Cube, open up, go to the pattern, put in your ancient legendary item, your level 50 plus gem, and then whatever gem you're trying to get stats on. So, for example, if you want intellect, you do topaz. But outside of that, like the season is freaking easy this season, and people should be able to do it no problem. There is a couple boss fights that you need to be aware of. For example, you need to kill Diablo within 60 seconds of the start of his fight, and you also need to kill Raknos at level 70 in under 15 seconds on Torment 13. Same goes for the Diablo kill on Torment 13. So it's easy. This season, everybody should be able to do it. I've given you some pretty good tips on how to get that stuff done quickly. Hopefully leveling up doesn't take you very long. And with the season of the Triune, make sure you're standing in the circles because it's all really good. But with all of that being said, I wish you guys luck on your season, and we shall see you guys next time.